Hey guys, Alex here. This is a video about a different type of personal computer. Something that I've never actually really used myself before, but have had the pleasure of using over the last few weeks. Now, excuse the strange analogy here, but SUVs. They'd always been around, but interest only started to peak in 2015 when people realised they could have a big car that was fast, would drive well, fit the family in all the suitcases, just a good all-rounder. And now they're absolutely everywhere. Take that same all-rounder analogy and apply it to a personal computer and we get this device sat behind me, the HP Envy Move. But the question is it actually any good? Now, let's cut to the chase. All-in-ones certainly aren't anything new. However, they do have their upsides, and those are things like reduced cable clutter, nicer designs, simpler setup, and the list goes on and on. It's an all-in-one. Now, this device is an all-in-one. However, it has a few extra features dotted about here and there in what I believe to be all the right places, which just give it that slight edge over the other all-in-ones out there. And they are really cool features that we'll discuss in this review. However, we'll hit off the basics first. On the front, you've got a screen, obviously. It's a nice screen. It's 23.8 inches, QHD, which is 1440p resolution, and it's a touchscreen. I've really got nothing to say about this screen except it's a really nice display, it's sharp enough for the screen size, and it's bright enough for outdoor viewing. Flanking below, we've got what looks to be a nice looking soundbar. Does it sound as good as it looks? Yes, because we've got Bang & Olufsen here. Now, a lot of the times companies usually slap on these audio brand names just to show that they're actually putting effort into sound, but these actually sound half decent. Talking about half decent, the webcam on the front of this thing. I think a lot of people buying a device like this will be the work from home type that will need to utilize the webcam. It's of a decent quality and it has a little shutter if you're worried about privacy. The whole device just generally looks lovely from every single angle that you can look at it. On the back, you've noticed that it's got this little pouch for the wireless keyboard and trackpad, which I think is really cute. On the side, you've got an HDMI port. We will be talking more about that port later. Below that, the proprietary power port, and then on the other side, we're looking at a single USB-A and C for any accessories or dongles. Now, this is where this device starts to get a little bit interesting. You've noticed that we can stow away the keyboard in the back of this device. You've probably seen the handle above that, and you're thinking this looks like a portable all-in-one. And that's exactly what it is. This device actually has a battery built inside of it, so you can take it basically wherever you would like to and have a full functioning all-in-one computer in the very same way that you would take your laptop around with you, except it's not a laptop with a small screen. We've got a almost 24-inch screen here, which is perfectly adequate for anybody. So it seems pretty cool on the surface. It's an all-in-one computer with a built-in battery, handle, place to stow the keyboard. It's a nice little package, but I didn't realize actually how cool this thing was until I started to use it in my actual life. For example, I don't have a TV near my kitchen sink. This thing was easy to bring over to my kitchen sink and watch Netflix whilst I'm washing the dishes. Moreover, when I'm in the games room playing a round of pool with my friends, there's no TV in there either. The football's on, how are we gonna watch that? And you can see it here, working absolutely fine, sat on my mantle, not a single cable attached. Another thing I really like is the touchscreen as well. You bring this thing into the pool room and then you think, how am I going to interface with it to put on the shows that I want to watch? Well, it's a touchscreen, so you technically don't even need to take the keyboard and mouse with you if you don't think you need them. One of the main things that did blow me away about this device, I saw as soon as I got it out the box and set it down on the table. The feet on the bottom of it, which are sort of also the sort of hybrid stand for this device, are completely automatic. On the bottom, they've got a couple of little black pins, and then when these black pins hit a surface, it automatically flips the feet out So it's just ready to be plonked down. And then when you pick the device up again, the feet just automatically turn around and retract so they're underneath the actual body of the device. It's almost Moorish playing with this, putting it up and down and just watching the mechanism do its thing. Now, before we get onto the really interesting stuff, let's touch on the included keyboard / trackpad scenario that's included in the box. It's a Bluetooth device, and like the actual device itself, it's made out of plastic but does feel quite nice. After an hour or so, I was completely used to typing on the keyboard. It is slightly mushy for my taste, but I do like it. This is my favorite type of keyboard to type on, but obviously this is subjective. The trackpad flanking the right-hand side of the keyboard, it's a built-in unit. It's nice, it's just as responsive as you'd think it was gonna be. It's not crazy, but it does the job. If I was using this every single day though, I would definitely just invest in a wireless mouse, because I would take a mouse over a trackpad any day of the week. Now, with this being an all-in-one, it has a computer inside of it that's running the latest version of Windows 11. However, we'll talk about the computing aspect of it towards the end of the video, because it's honestly almost an afterthought, and you'll see why in a minute. The actual device itself is built really nicely. At the end of the day, it is a screen, a battery, and some speakers inside of a nice shell. Now, I mentioned that HDMI port on the side. This is where HP really got me. This thing is basically an externally powered, battery-powered monitor with a set of speakers. You can plug whatever you would like to into that HDMI port and it will display on the screen. And then just with a flick of the input button on the side of the device, you can flick between that HDMI port being displayed on the screen, or you can quickly switch back to the inbuilt computer. Now, this is really cool. To test this, I whacked out my Xbox, got an HDMI cable, hooked the two together, and I loaded into some Modern Warfare 2, which completely took me right back. And when I was sat at my kitchen table playing Modern Warfare 2 over HDMI through a display which has got a battery built into it and it's over 1080p, I just thought to myself, back in the day when I was playing Modern Warfare 2, I would have dreamt of having a display like this, yet here it is sat on my kitchen worktop, working flawlessly. So with all of that out the way, let's talk about what this thing is actually like as a computer. And the funny thing is, this thing actually is a computer, like that's its main use case. However, I've spent the majority of this video not even talking about the computer. Here we are though. We've got an i5 in here, 16 gigs of RAM, and Intel Iris graphics. Now, it's not the craziest computer as far as specs are concerned here, but I do believe for 90% of people, this will be absolutely adequate for doing things like word processing, checking emails, online shopping, web browsing, and media consumption, which I think are the things that 90% of people do on their computer, and this does it well. The included battery got me through 4 to 5 hours of complete screen on time doing emails and word processing, which I was kind of happy to see. With those specs being said though, I did find that it was easy to bottleneck this computer. I was at 100% CPU usage when I was installing some games. Obviously I installed some games because I wanted to see what I could do with this thing. Now, I think a lot of people buying this will set it and forget it in one place. It can sit at their computer desk in their house. However, if they would like to move it somewhere, it's nice to see that you have that option. So let's say you've got some kids. What can this thing play? Now, I did try Fortnite, unfortunately really wasn't a very good experience. The only game I really managed to get working on medium settings was Rocket League. So yes, you can play some lighter end games on this, like Rocket League and Minecraft for example, but AAA titles, just say bye-bye to it. Hook your Xbox into it instead. I think what this device has done has given me a glimpse of the future, a little bit of a taste of it, because the concept here is great. But what I'm imagining is a device exactly like this, but with more power, that could handle a workflow such as mine, whether I want to play some games or edit some 4K video. This would be the machine I would buy if it would do that. But unfortunately, with it being an Intel i5 and not having the best specs as a computer, it can't quite replace my workhorses at the moment. But I'm sure HP will make more powerful versions of these as time goes on, and this form factor with the inbuilt battery develops. But with that being said, guys, if your workflow really doesn't need a massive, crazy powerful CPU and you're after an all-in-one, I really would give this thing a chance. I've really liked using it over the last few weeks anyway. My name's been Alex, this has been TechFlow, and this has been the HP Envy Move. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.